Hi, I'm Kaitlynn, and for this quarter's book review project, I will be reviewing the book Seraphina by Rachel Hartman. On top of being an author, Rachel Hartman also writes comics and plays music, though typically now she devotes most of her time to writing other books in the Seraphina series, such as Shadow Scale and Tess of the Road. Seraphina takes place in a mythical land where dragons exist. It's a fantasy story. There's no magic, which is kind of sad because it's a fantasy, but I think the dragons really make up for it. In Seraphina's world, dragons turn into these human-like beings called Serantros. Serantros are a lot like humans, except for the fact that they don't like emotions. In fact, if you get any emotions or experience any, you get your brain wiped. You lose all your memories so that you can become a clean slate for the pursuit of unending knowledge. They just want to be the smartest and to know everything, and they believe that learning is their purpose in life. This causes humans to think that they're soulless and not get along with them very well. Seraphina is actually half dragon, half human. This puts her in a really tough position because it's not legal for a human to have a child with a dragon, and vice versa. This means that she should be spending most of her time laying low at home, in a basement or something, covering her scales, which she has on her arms and waist, and not drawing any attention to herself. Instead, however, Seraphina becomes the music tutor to the princess and future queen, Princess Griselda. During her time at the castle, Seraphina forms an awkward love triangle between Prince Kiggs, who's supposed to be marrying Prince Griselda, and Prince Griselda herself. While Kiggs and Griselda should be loving each other, they actually both fall in love with Seraphina, which is sort of one of those plays on the forbidden love trope. I thought that the character interactions and the feelings that developed and just the world building were two of the best features of the story. The world that Hartman wrote and created for Seraphina was so beautiful and vast, and I felt like there was so much to explore that it was just so exciting to read it all, and I never got bored. It was the same with seeing the characters develop. I feel like I saw Seraphina grow at the royal capital. I felt like I saw her evolve into Seraphina, and then there's Seraphina 2 months later. She just grows up, and it's so interesting to see. I think the forbidden love trope that I mentioned earlier, along with the ending, are two of the sort of not better parts of the story. I don't necessarily dislike either, I should say, but I feel like they both could have been done a little bit better. The ending was kind of bland, and the forbidden love trope has been used for hundreds of years, and it's about to get really old. But I'm still giving it the highest rating that I could possibly ever give a book. 5 stars was great, 10/10 would read again. The figurative language in the story was just really amusing, and I loved it a whole lot. Hartman describes music so beautifully, and just a bunch of other things so beautifully. As I mentioned earlier when I talked about the world building, the way that the world was described was probably one of the reasons that I loved it so much. Hartman has a beautiful style of writing, and it's so interesting to read, and I never got bored of it. It never seemed repetitive, only pretty and nice. Similarly, I should say, to J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series, which I'm sure a good portion of you have read, or at least seen the movies or parts of it. I think a lot of people like Harry Potter, which is why I think it would be a good comparison to Seraphina. If you like Harry Potter, then you'll probably like Seraphina, which means that most of you will probably like Seraphina. And I think, just as a lot of people got attached to Ron and Hermione and Harry in Harry Potter, a lot of people get attached to Seraphina, Kiggs, and Griselda in the book Seraphina. And maybe you'll find yourself attached to a dragon too. You'll never know unless you read it, which is why you should definitely read it. Just read it.